All set. Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. It looks like, unfortunately, Sherry dropped off. I still need to wait for a member. Oh, she's back. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our multilingual curriculum subcommittee meeting. Today is Monday, November 21st. The time is now 6:01. And with me this evening, I have Board Member Sherry McCready Brown, Dr. Estrella, Francis Saez, Robert Pennington. I also see Taylor Da Silva. And guest is Juliana. And we can move from there. Sherry, I know that we were discussing earlier. Were you able to find those minutes? Because I was able to find them. Sherry must be having problems because I don't see her on the screen anymore.
I believe Colin is on.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Colin.
Good evening,
Hello.
Colin.
So Board Member Colin Hostin is on. Okay, Colin, were you able to read the minutes?
I was not in the last meeting. I had to abstain.
What was that?
I did miss the last meeting, so I would have to abstain from the vote, but I did
Okay.
through the minutes.
With that being said, I'm going to have to table them because I don't see Sherry on here to be able to discuss
I'm
and
on.
approve.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now. I don't see you on my
Yes,
list.
I'm on.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm on the call.
were you able to read
Go
the
ahead.
minutes?
I was not. I just pulled off, and I wasn't
Okay.
able to read the minutes. So
That is fine. Be careful driving. All right. Well,
Yes.
Motion to table the minutes, please.
so
So
moved,
moved.
Brown.
Okay. Thank you for that. And with that, let's see here. So this evening, we're going to have great information that I'm looking forward to listening to. We're going to discuss data and development and survey information. And I am actually going to transfer this meeting over to Dr. Estrella for a few words, and we can get started on our meeting. Thank you for everybody being here this evening.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Multilingual Learner Curriculum Subcommittee. It's a great pleasure today to speak to a number of elements that we have been working on as a collective team across the district. One, looking carefully at our multilingual learner data and really zooming into areas of growth and development. We've acquired or obtained a lot of success in the past year in shifting what services have been available to our students, and most importantly, really changing the narrative of their learning experience within our school district. I'm going to turn it over to Francis Saez, which will speak to these components and also provide an update this evening around the Family Center and some of the data points that they have collected based on the work that has taken place within the center. Ms. Saez?
Thank you, Dr. Estrella. Good evening, everyone. For those who weren't here last September in our ML subcommittee, my name is Francis Saez. I am the Education Administrator for Multilingual Learners and the Supervisor of the Family Center. So I'm very excited to share our ML data, our current data, and as Dr. Estrella had just mentioned, some of the professional development and learning opportunities that we've been availing administrators and teachers. So our agenda for today is presenting some of our multilingual learner data, the MLL Department Professional Development, and family center survey and service experience that family has shared with us, and some of the workshop and events that have been very successful at the family center. So for Norwalk Public School ML population as of October 1st, these are the numbers from October 1st, 2021 to October 1st, 2022, our MLL student population for each school. So in October 1st, 2021, we had a total of 2,021 MLLs. As compared to October 1st, we have now 2,249. We've had a 12.6% increase from last October, but we're currently at now, as of today, we have a total of 2,276 MLL students in our district. That's an increase of 240 students from last year. This is our data based on the increase per school. So for the elementary schools, two of the schools that have the highest increase is Rowayton, which has a 21% increase, and Jefferson Elementary School, it has a 16.79% increase. Highest middle school was Ponis at 17.31%. And for the high school was Norwalk High School at 16.33%. And you'll see the numbers of student population from October 1st to October 1st of this year. In this slide, last year, I presented the top 15 language spoken by MLLs at Norwalk Public School. If you notice, the top 5 last year were Spanish, Haitian Creole, Arabic, and Ukrainian and Polish. There has been a shift, even though the last 3 of the 5, Ukrainian, Portuguese, and Arabic, those numbers have switched around, where the Ukrainian population has increased. We had 12 families, where now we have 21 families. And due to that data, Juliana Smith has done an amazing job in supporting us with families. We are creating a Ukrainian support group that will begin next month to support those new families with their emotional support and also learning how to navigate our educational systems. So now our top 4 are Spanish, Haitian Creole, Ukrainian, and Portuguese. That kind of shifted from last year. So this is a graph that I've also shared last year, but for this year, one of the differences with last year is that 48% of our MLLs were born on the US, as compared to this year where we have an influx of MLLs that are 51% this year. The countries of origin remain the same. The highest is Honduras with 15.5, Guatemala with 13.4, and Peru with 2.1. We've had an increase, a small increase with Ecuadorians and Dominican population. It's still fairly low at 1.3, but we are seeing the increase. So I want to go back to a document that I was sharing. I had shared in September about shifts that we made and some program studies that we made, and also celebrating the success of the MLLs in terms of graduation rate. So as I stated previously, the ML department, in collaboration with the curriculum and school counseling department, we did a transcript review in last January. And we noticed, and this is the data that I wanted to share today, we noticed that over 50% of the 12th graders in one of the high schools were not on track for graduation. And this was alarming for us. And in the other school, there was a total of like 64% of the ML population not on track. And when we say not on track, was that after reviewing the transcript and looking at the programs that they were scheduled for the following semester, we had to immediately do something about it to make sure that these students graduate. So what were some things we did? As I shared before, we collaborated with Twilight, having students take courses during the day and night. They were very dedicated to making sure that these services were provided. We revised the multilingual learner program for summer school, where they didn't only have the opportunity to take credit recovery courses, but also courses that they had not taken before because of the constraint of the program that previously exists, not availing them the opportunity to take those courses. So we made it happen last summer. So they had scheduled for credit recovery, MLL Summer Accelerated Program, and we actually assisted also 2 new mothers with receiving homebound instruction to assist them with graduating, and they successfully graduated by providing the services that they needed at home. We also made sure that the MLLs submitted essays for a scholarship, Natalia Rodriguez Scholarship, and we honor 5 ML 12th graders with that scholarship. Now, I want you to be mindful about this data. So we follow the 12th graders, MLLs, but we also have to remember that I believe in Power School, we now are able to detect the cohort. And the cohort is those students who are targeted based on their enrollment date to graduate by 2022. So here we have a total of 101 MLLs who are part of the 12th grade, not yet the cohort, 12th grade, that more than about 60% were at risk and not graduating. And after the August 2022 graduation, we have a total of 89 MLLs who did graduate. So these numbers are really amazing. And we don't want to yet give you the exact percentile of MLLs that graduated yet, because we are patiently waiting for the state of Connecticut to publish our graduation results in January. And we could share some initial information that I'm sharing now, but the numbers look really good. And I'm very happy with this number based on the collaboration between our school counselors, the curriculum department, and the MLL department. And this is just true to the fact that when we collaborate and work together for the best interests of our students, that we could help them succeed. So I'm going to pause for a second just for questions.
Okay, so I have, looking at this screen, how come there is CGS is not listed? Do they not have an MLL student at all?
They don't
No
have any
seniors.
MLLs.
They didn't have any seniors, MLLs.
Is there a reason for that, or it just happened to be that way?
I think part of the reason why that happens, because they are a magnet program, and students have to apply to be enrolled. Typically, when you have a non-English speaking student, they come into the district, and by the time they're coming into the district, that enrollment period for the magnet program has already expired. And because the way CGS is organized by providing specialties in different languages. Historically, the district has not had any MLLs in the program. One of the things that we want to look at, particularly in those areas where seats are available, as making that a CGS an offering for students that are newly arrived as well.
Is that the same reason also for P-TECH being so low compared to Nowak High and Brian McMahon?
Is the same reason as well.
And the increases of MLLs, is it just enrollment or students that are being evaluated that are being put in MLL?
No, those are based on enrollments.
Enrollment.
Okay, thank you. Colin or Sherry, any questions?
Yeah, that number, can you hear me? Because I have
Yes.
to toggle back and forth between #6. So that number that you gave us when you indicated that they were on track for graduation, are you talking about for the cohort that just graduated, or are you talking about 2023 who are on track to graduate?
We're talking about the seniors that should have been on track to graduate in 2022. These is our data
Okay.
from,
So what was that percentage? What number are you anticipating that number to be, that graduation percentage to be?
Well, we're really waiting for, I'm expecting it to be pretty high, but I'm really waiting for the state of Connecticut to publish the graduation results, because my numbers are based on only on senior, not the cohort that they identify for 2022. So when I talk about cohorts, I'm talking about if a student is expected to graduate in 2022, depending where they were placed, whether it was 9th or 10th grade, those students need to be counted as part of the graduation rate. The ones that I'm presenting to you are the MLLs that were already identified as 12th graders, and we review all 101 12th graders that were MLLs. So there might be still a few students who weren't 12th graders, but should have graduated during the 2022 cohort.
Okay, so you're talking about there are some students in that group who have not graduated yet right now, right?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about? Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes. Because they weren't identified as 12th graders when I did the transcript review. They might have been identified as 11 or 10th graders, but we review the 12th graders only. We will now this year do transcript reviews based on cohorts now that we're able to identify that in Power School.
Now, when did you guys first look at that? You had indicated that, you noticed that.
Yeah, we looked at it in January. I came in November and I did the transcript review with my team in January.
So prior to that, no one in the district was doing that program. Okay.
Prior to that, I believe school counselors look at transcript reviews, but I was gathering data in terms of MLLs to make sure that they were on target.
And one of the things, Sherry, just for further clarification, there were a number of students that were missing 1 or 2 classes, but because the classes were not labeled as MLL classes, they were not allowed to take the courses, even though the courses were being offered within the district. One of the things that we shifted is that MLL students, like any other students on campus, will have access to any course that they need. And we then built in any additional scaffolds in terms of language into the course, but we don't inhibit students from taking courses just because they don't have an MLL label on them, which was creating the situation that we had in the past where a lot of students were not graduating on time because they didn't have the opportunity to take courses they needed to be able to do so. So we had to make a lot of systemic changes to ensure that our MLLs were having equitable access to courses in the same way that other students that did not need the language support were having access to. And for that reason, you saw in the last graduation data set, we had a significant increase in graduation rate, and a lot of it was because of the access that students had now to courses that in the past they did not.
I remember you talked about that at the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Colin?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else has any questions? And going back to that, I was very impressed again. I'll repeat myself, being, standing next to Dr. Case and Dr. Estrella at graduation is hearing these students that were MLL, say how thankful they were and they thought they were never going to graduate. And to see their emotion and tears definitely shows the hard work and all the changes that you guys have all made in this program to help all children. And that I am very thankful for.
Thank you. So one of the things that I want to revisit is Dr. Walqui and a group of about 40 teachers, myself, the ML department, doing a collaborative review, some of her findings and recommendations that I want to revisit so that we could continue to improve the instruction, the quality of instruction at Norwalk Public School for all students and not only MLLs. And based on her findings and the recommendations, we are providing professional development across the district to administrators, to AP central staff, and teachers. And now we're going to start with our bilingual aides next month, and sharing that review, some of the findings, and how we're moving forward with those recommendations. So in March of 22, West Ed, Dr. Walqui and a whole team of central staff, teachers from Norwalk High and teachers from Brian McMahon, conducted classroom observations. We observed 32 classes comprised of 14 MLLs and 18 general education classroom at Norwalk High and Brian McMahon over the course of 2 days. And on the third day, we shadow students. And our look fors was evidence of academic rigor, high expectation, quality interaction, which are 3 of the 5 principles of QTEL, what the strategies and the tasks that we are rolling out throughout the district. And these findings were a bit alarming to us. And as you notice, in terms of academic rigor, from the total of 32 classes, this is, the green is little evidence, the blue is moderate evidence, and some evidence. So in terms of academic rigor, high expectations, and quality interaction, and overall observation from both of the schools, the data in academic rigor was only in 22% of the classes. And in high expectation was 31%, and quality interaction was 16%. So based on our evidence from the classroom observation, this is the data that we are going to be monitoring and doing observations to make sure that we improve and grow in terms of our academic rigor and setting high expectations, quality interactions. On this next slide, we are going to share with you that this was presented to the board in June by Dr. Walqui, her comprehensive review and report. But I thought of it being very important for us to revisit the 3 criteria that my team and I are going to be going back into the classrooms after the professional development that we have been rolling out since August, to make sure that those numbers in terms of the quality of instruction that is being offered throughout the schools, not only for MLL, that we are really providing students with academic rigor, setting high expectation, because it is a mind shift that sometimes there's a belief that MLLs come as empty vessels, yet they have tons of experience that I can't even imagine. And they do have the potential, if we set those high expectations and provide them with the quality interaction that they need to be able to practice that second language by engaging in advanced courses and engaging in courses where they could take part with other non-ML students so that they could interact. So going back to Dr. Walqui's recommendation in her comprehensive report, these were the short-term, midterm, and long-term goals that she recommended for Norwalk Public Schools and our team. And in the short term is enhancing classroom teaching and learning experience, an opportunity for multilingual learners really to engage in a rigorous task and in quality interaction, because that's how we acquire language, not in a linear way, but in the opportunities to practice the language. And to also revisit having deep boarding opportunities for professional learning focus on multilingual learners throughout the district, like we've been rolling out with administrators, with teachers, with bilingual aid, building capacity within the Norwalk Public School for everyone to have the skills and the tools to be able to provide the services to our multilingual learners. And finally, the long-term recommendations incorporated formative assessment in those lessons. So what have we done so far? So we have focused our professional learning opportunities to engage teachers and administrations in a structure, 3 moments in a lesson. How do we roll out those lessons? How do we align those QTEL strategies to engage students in quality learning experience? And also the opportunity for teachers during either the team meetings on PD to share ideas how to prepare lesson with the use of QTEL tasks, and how to invite students to engage in quality oral interaction. So Dr. Estrella has made it very clear that in the schools, we have to allow teachers the opportunity to co-plan, to plan lessons around QTELs, to practice those strategies. And we provide professional development to principals so that they know what the look-fors are. And we also introduce in the middle and the high school administrative teachers co-teaching. So if we are going to require for MLL teachers to co-teach with our ELA teachers and our content area teachers, allow them the opportunity to engage in conversations about the lesson and co-planning and delivering of those lessons. And the curriculum team has allowed teachers to do throughout the summer. Just this month, I know Stacy got the teachers together to look at curriculum, redefine some of those units, and also take place with the conversations about how we could implement them in these lessons and units of studies. So this was the ML department's schedule. I talked a little bit about the recommendations that were made, and these PDs were focused on engaging teachers in the structure of 3 moments in a lesson, what it looks like in terms of in a lesson, what experience do we have to share with students, and we have them engage in activities that we actually want them to engage other students. So we did a lesson, my team and I did a lesson on racism in society, and what are the 3 moments in a lesson that students should experience, and how to implement those lessons in other grade levels. So we shared a Wonders for elementary, a Wonders 2nd grade lesson, and how we could apply it in that lesson. So this is really what we share is that we're proposing that lessons are designed along 3 key moments named after what we want students to accomplish with concepts or text. It's preparing the learner, allowing students the opportunity to interact with text, grade level text, the concept, and to actually extend their understanding by connecting their ideas and showing us through producing a product that they understand actually what the teachers has taught. So what we are expecting is when we go and do the walkthroughs with administrators and my team, is that we're expecting for students to experience these 3 moments in a lesson, and through these 3 moments in a lesson that at least 3 of the QTEL strategies that we train them, all these that are up and coming up, that they are implementing it in the classroom, and that we're following through with the recommendations from Dr. Walqui. And if we go back to those observations, that when we go in February now again, that the high quality is there, the interaction, the engagement, and the academic rigor is actually clearly shown throughout those observations. So besides all the professional development that we are providing throughout the district by my team, 3 of us actually, there are other types of support. My assistants, educational assistant administrators, Alyssa and Taylor, go into these schools and provide the building principals and ML teachers professional learning opportunities for teachers within their school building, besides the district-wide PD that we offer. We also do learning walks, and now we're going to start the learning walks, looking at those indicators that I talked about, supporting principals with programming, ML services, and revisiting those compliances to make sure that we're providing every ML student, even those who have exited the program in the last 2 years, that they're still being supported in terms of having support for MLL, so that they do not fall through the cracks. Like, they just passed, we're not servicing them anymore. Dr. Estrella made a great recommendation, which is we should continue to support them after they exited 2 years until we're sure they could be successful. They also support with students grouping, looking at the data to see how we group students. We're recommending for them to be integrated into the general ed population as soon as possible, so that they could be included and inclusive. And also through our dual language coach and consultant, supporting those teachers that principals have selected that need support with one-to-one lesson planning or team lesson planning. Our consultant Manginelli is supporting numerous teachers on a one-to-one basis throughout the district. These are just images of our learning opportunities with teachers and administration, really engaging in the QTEL tasks that we are presenting to teachers and having them engage, and also the opportunity for them to ask questions. If they're struggling, we were there to provide the support. So I want to stop here now for some questions about the professional development that we've delivered so far.
For the public and for myself, actually, can you explain a little bit what type of support you would give a student 2 years after they graduate?
So one of the supports is that we assign an MLL teacher to continue to follow that student and look at that student's data and see where he may continue to need support. So that teacher may meet with that student maybe once a week, just to make sure that he doesn't fall through the cracks. So the support might vary. I don't know if I answered that question, might vary depending on the student's needs.
Okay. Sherry or Colin?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Okay. I hope that you're not hearing me, because I'm sitting here having a snack. I'm starving. And I have to, and for some reason, my phone, normally when you toggle back and forth, you hear a voice that says that you are muted or not muted, and it's not doing that. So sometimes I can't tell. So anyway, thank you for the report. This is very thoughtful, hard work that you're doing. And it really speaks to the fact that when we help our students who are struggling, it pulls up everyone. And I shudder to think that in the past that we weren't doing these kinds of things to help our MLL students, but it seems like we're trending in the right direction in providing support
I thank you for that. And I think that quality instruction is quality instruction. And you're absolutely correct in stating we're not just only uplifting the MLLs, but we're also uplifting the quality of instruction that's in every classroom in Norwalk Public School.
Correct.
And I just wanted to add one component, and that is that it really isn't just about providing professional learning to our teachers, but it's also our administrators, our coaches. So everyone is getting the same instructional PD, and there just creates coherence across the organization, which I know that is part of Dr. Estrella's vision. And the team has really been providing just a lot of professional learning, and they're doing a great job. So
Thank you for adding that, Rob. So now
Colin?
oh,
Hold on.
sorry.
Just confirming with Colin. Or anyone else that has any questions?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, so now the MLL department has actually the pleasure of actually also running the Family Center, events, workshops, registration. Registration in itself, we're going to hold on for our next meeting so that you could see the shift of what we've done to really expedite the enrollment process for any families that come to the Family Center to register, and making sure that our students get to school and are registered and supported immediately, and expedite that they're placed in the schools. So at the Family Center, we don't just register students, we have all these events and workshops for families. And besides our professional development for administrators, coaches, and teachers in bilingual A, we also run the engagement for families. And throughout September, we started all these workshops. And one of the data that I wanted to share was the attendees in terms of family engagement and the surveys that we receive from families. So our family engagement fluctuates. Have you noticed, we did the Vivo movie, the cast of Vivo, the majority were bilingual staffs. This was held in Bridgeport, and transportation supported us with getting to busing. We had a total of 70 families who attended that. The Gringa play, a bilingual play in both languages about the immigrant experience, Puerto Rican main character, not knowing where she belongs, whether she was American or whether Puerto Rican, but it was an infusion of who she are. She was a Latina, but she was Puerto Rican, Americana, and being accepted in both of these worlds. And we had amazing reviews about that performance. Families are still reaching out about when is the next performance. We had a total of 400 families participating in that event. Some of them have had large numbers, some events had low numbers, but our goal is for our numbers to continue to increase. We wanted to expose families from Norwalk Public Schools to a safe Halloween trick-or-treat community event. We had a drive-by at the Family Center. We had 200 families drive by for snacks, for treats. We had an amazing event. We were out at the Family Center for over 2 hours, greeting families, meeting children, and these are the impact to the work that Dr. Estrella and the board has really supported us in, and really having the opportunity to allow families to know that the Family Center is here for them in providing workshops, learning opportunities, but also special events. So every time a family stops by the family center, we started this data a few months ago, and we still continue to give them the survey. The families that did the drive-by, that was difficult to have them survey because the kids were really happy to just trick or treat. But we have 60 families who responded. We have a total of 1,592 families that have come through the family center. And in terms of their experience rated in the survey, everyone has either 100% rated the service here at the family center at exceptional 60 and good service 8. There have been 0 identified as poor service. So the families are really happy with the service. They like that this is a hub where they could ask for all type of services, including transportation, food service, registration, social emotional support. We have a social worker at hand at the family center, and they come back. They come back to visit us for questions that sometimes we don't have the answers to, but we are in collaboration with the Norwalk Hub at City Hall. So we also do a referral service there. If there's anything that we cannot support them, we make sure we find out the information for them. So in that survey, we also include what other services will you like to that we offer at the family center. And what they shared out in the comment box was how to navigate district website and having a section on the website for parents that is user-friendly and that they could convert to the language that they need. And I know we're in the process of changing that website. So I've been in communication with the communication department and giving them that feedback that we're getting from the survey. They also want technology workshop for Power School, how to navigate the Power School, how do they look up their students' data, and those are workshops that Juliana Smith is going to be supporting the families. She's doing an amazing job at the family center, really providing those support. And how to just acclimate to families to acclimate to the United States school system. Who do they go to for help? How do they find out information? So these are workshops that we're going to start to roll out and schedule because this is what families are asking. And in terms of services, it depends on the family. So some of the Ukrainian families want English classes. We also inform them about the ESL courses that are offered at Norwalk High School. Others want adult Spanish classes, notary service. So at the present time, we have 2 of our staff members that became notary, I think if that's the term, but they're certified to notarize. So we have 2, and we are asking all our family representatives to also get certified so that we could provide those services for families. They don't have to run out and get the notary and come back with the documents that they need. One thing that they also included was counseling service for parents. I guess some families are struggling with social and emotional, and how do we refer them to some services for counseling, housing services, health clinic for the physicals and immunization. I know hopefully in the near future, we're gonna have that in place here, and free legal advice. Like sometimes they ask us for advice that we really can't offer them in terms of legal advice, and any free daycare referral service.
The list is very impressive, especially since, you know, a lot of people believe that the family center is only for registration, when in reality, there's so many different services that are being provided to families of Norwalk.
Yeah, I think that the best thing about the survey is getting the actual listening to those voices, right? And when they
Mhm.
hear of all the offers that we have here, they're like so excited. But these are services, additional services that they're still looking for. This is our current calendar for workshops, for family workshops. These are some that already took place that I shared the data for, but our next upcoming workshop is for the middle school in preparation for looking at how to understand your child's report card, preparing for parent-teacher conference. These are some of the image from the events that took place for at the Family Center and at Vivo, different locations. This is the financial literacy. It was so successful with the financial literacy. I observed the questions that were being posed, and it made the pathway to home ownership doable for families. Like, oh, we can do this. And we got a grant from Chase Bank, who did all these workshops for free for us. This is the event of La Gringa. This is Ginger Cass, The Courage to Speak, a workshop about suicide. It was amazing, and there were a lot of questions, and children were there with their parents, and how to speak to the child to prevent such a tragic incident from happening in families' lives. This was the drive-through that I was talking about. This was very exciting for the families. Officers participated, and all the family staff, we just dressed up like female heroes. This is the financial literacy workshop. This was an amazing family fun night where families came with their children to participate in creating their own special Hallmark card for a family member or for a friend. Everybody was having a great time. We had a total of 50 families participating. We had to open up some tables at the registration office because more families were coming in, and making sure we provide the service for everybody. It was a very successful and a beautiful night. And this night was really hosted by Juliana, who did an amazing job. This is the workshop preparing for the Elementary Parent-Teacher Conference for elementary students. Families came with the students. This also was successful, and we want to continue to do this more often. And last but not least, I just have to thank Diane Capio and Jalen from the Norwalk Mutual Aid and Filling the Blanks. We just opened our new family center pantry. We're thinking of a name. We're waiting for Jalen to help us with a name for the pantry. But for me today, this is something that I know Dr. Estrella and myself, based on the registration, the need was so much there. And I became very emotional, just the fact that coming together with Norwalk Mutual Aid and Diana, really pushing the agenda, really made this happen. So I want to thank you for that. And it filled my heart, because especially during this time, this was so much needed. So we got turkeys and bag of food for families that we know doubled up and need the support, and they started to come and pick up their packets. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm looking forward to the partnership with the Family Center and Norwalk Mutual Aid. When you got all emotional, it took everything in me not to start crying too, because, we are very thankful that we have what we need, but there's so many families that do not have what they need. So, this is just the beginning. And Actually, Jalen and I, we just had a meeting right before this one, and we were discussing of a way to get students involved to be able to name that pantry. Because since the pantry is going to be for the students and the
Yeah.
families, that if we can get the students involved in naming it, I think that would be an awesome way to go.
I think that's a great idea. Yes.
Mhm.
And have them involved in community service supporting, because one of the things
Yes.
that you and I talked about was the fact that, you know, many families that also need helping other families, and that's a great experience for me.
Right.
Oh,
It was my pleasure, and it was great seeing everybody and to see the energy at the family center and how excited everybody is about
yeah,
getting this pantry up and running. So,
very much. It was a goal, very much, and we made it happen.
Francis and Dr. Estrella and Diana, I would like to thank you. First of all, Diana, for the invitation. And thank you, Francis, for your kind words. I just want to express that it's an honor for me to work for the Norwalk Public Schools families, and the Family Center is doing an amazing job. This is an example of a teamwork, working collaboration. I'm so proud of being a part of the Family Center. Thank you.
Thank you. We love the work you're doing here, Juliana, really.
awesome. Any other questions from Sherry or Colin? Comments?
I'll just add my thanks and appreciation. It sounds like a really great program, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I believe that was the end of the agenda. And thank you, everybody that was here this evening. If you could take that off the screen so I can see everyone, please. So thank you, everyone. This was a lot of great information. I'm loving the fact that we are moving, you know, the results of all our children, including the MLLs, forward, especially with graduation, because that is huge.
Mhm.
You know, so I know it's been a long day. It's almost 7. And with that being said, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Colin. All right, well, good night, everybody, and we'll be talking soon. I'll see you next
Good
week.
night. Thank you.
All
Good
right,
night.
bye-bye.
Good everyone.
Bye-bye. Good night, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Same to you.